Hey everybody, another day, another consumer grade Windows 8 laptop with some serious problems. Let me show you why this is in today. This is a HP Envy Ultrabook 4. Nice machine. Very thin. Sleek machine, but it's got some serious issues. Let me show you what's going on with this guy. Boot device not found. Please install an OS on your hard disk. Now if we press F2, now we don't want diagnostics, we actually want the BIOS set utility. Try this F10 on these guys, on HPs. I'm curious to know if it's one of those laptops that actually includes a solid state drive along with a hard disk. So let me just look it up. Okay, there it goes into the SEP utility. This is a HP Envy Ultrabook 4. Alright, let's go ahead and look at the BIOS. HP Envy Sleekbook 4 PC. It's a Core i5 processor and 4 gigs of RAM. Let's go to boot options. And the boot options on this one does not actually tell me, you know, what's there and what's not. I mean, it just the boot order just shows, you know, like let's say for the EFI boot order, it's just OS Boot Manager, which is, you know, Windows Boot Manager with Windows 8. In Legacy, this shows USB-C/DVD-ROM hard drive, notebook hard drive, USB diskette, network adapter. It doesn't just show, it does actually show the name of the piece of hardware, whereas some BIOS would tell you the actual name of the device. Okay everybody, I decided to kind of redo this video in a way. I just showed you the beginning of my previous recording to where I was getting, you know, the error saying that, you know, you couldn't find an OS on a hard disk. Basically, this is an HP Ultrabook that's not very old. You know, your typical consumer grade laptop. Probably better quality than a lot of the others out there, but I mean, it's questionable to say how old this thing is. It can't be no more than 2 years old. And, you know, what else gets me is I don't see any signs of damage from, like, you know, let's say a drop or anything like that. This computer has a 500 gigabyte hard disk and a 32 gigabyte solid state drive. And basically, I tried to load, you know, a Windows 7 installer to get something to run Crystal Disk Info from, but it literally just sat and hung at the part where it says starting Windows, like something was causing it to hang. So the next part of this project, we're going to take this hard disk out and see what the deal is with it. Okay everybody, I looked up online about how these things come apart, and apparently this bottom shell actually just comes right off. You know, if that's actually the case, I'd be very surprised. You know, I think HP's Chromebooks are exactly the same way in design. I'm sure you guys may notice something here. You know, most laptops, there's something you can easily detach before doing any repairs. That's the battery. So it looks like even if something like this replacing the battery on one, you gotta take this shell off of here. So let's go for it. Now let's see if this simply taking these screws out gives us access to inside of here. And the hard disk, I believe, is somewhere over on the right quadrant, over this area. And it takes a special kind of height too. It takes a slim 7mm 2.5-inch drive. That's the thing I'm concerned about, you know, I gotta look up a line more about, is a lot of these newer computers. I mean, like for example, this one here, it actually has a 32 gigabyte solid state drive built in, and it's actually called, you know, for cache. So actually, I believe it's has something to do with the RAID on this computer. So, you know, after replacing this drive, I had to look up how to configure that, obviously. Because think of it this way, you know, if I install Windows 8 or even 8.1 on that 32 gig solid state drive, there can be times where you can easily fill up that solid state drive with programs before you know it. Let's see. Got one more screw. Alright, let's carefully lift this cover out. Alright, and it's off of there. You know, guys, you know, I was kind of bashing this thing earlier about, you know, new designs, but I can't really complain too much here, because snapping that bottom piece off gives you access to everything. Battery, hard disk, SSD, RAM. Well, the CPU and chips are over here. Wireless cards over here. So guys, you're getting to see inside an HP Envy Sleekbook today. You know, it's a good opportunity for me to have a look at one of these, because I've kind of wondered about these things, at least in the way they're designed. Anyways, there's the battery. Lithium-ion battery. Yeah, to be honest, I'm kind of concerned about it being, you know, such a soft case like that. I'd be a bit more comfortable if it was actually enclosed in plastic. Because, you know, I made a video sometime back when, I'll have to link it in the description so we can go watch it instead of me having to repeat everything in this video. But I've had a scary experience one time with a flat lithium-ion battery like this before. But anyways, here's our hard disk, and let's go ahead and take it out. We have a skinny connection right over here that comes out. It's where the you know, the SATA interface, the SATA and power interface is. Perhaps I'm going to try and bolt this out first, and then go from there. That sucker is in there tight too. This one here is not, but the other one was. There's that screw. Try a different bit. Obviously, you don't want to bear down too hard, seeing there's an LCD right under that. Right under this, near the lid's closed and all. Yeah, that one gets a much better bite. You finally get that brick loose. Anyways, going to take our hard disk out. I'm curious to see what brand it is. It's Toshiba or Seagate. We got another screw on the side over here too. Strange layout. The battery just unplugs right over here. There we go. There's the battery. Flat as can be. Set that to the side. Now, there's access to that screw. That one screw. Western Digital. Yeah, Western Digital Caviar Blue. Let's look at the manufacture date on this guy. October 2012. Yeah. Very, very strange. Usually you don't see these kind of problems with Western Digitals. I would have expected something like this from maybe Seagate or Toshiba, but not necessarily Western Digital. Generally, you at least in a laptop, you'd at least get, I don't know, 3 to 4 years of runtime out of one. I've had a Western Digital last for what, 8 years, and another one that I just had to replace was 4 years. So, anyways, I have to disconnect this connection here. You want to get this hard drive replaced. So anyways, let's go ahead and plug this in mid-tower lock, see if I can figure anything out with it. See if we can get it to work at all, so that way we can recover the person's data, which hopefully is possible. So let's give it a shot. Okay, everybody, there sits the hard drive. Got it plugged up to the mid-tower locks, and this is actually after I had just unplugged it from power, because I mean, it spins up. It doesn't sound very good. Took forever for the computer to recognize it. Disk manager was literally hanging, and I got pop-ups down in the lower right corner of the screen here showing task B0 timeouts. When you get timeouts like that, it's not good. That's what AMD RAID expert was reporting anyway, since the RAID controller operates my hot swappable SATA hookup there. That drive is toast, and I mean toast. Very unfortunate, because there's no telling how many files are on that disk. So we're going to order a new drive, and luckily eBay has white label drives in the ultra thin 7mm format. You can see there's a white label 500GB drive, 5400 RPM SATA, 7mm, versus the more common, I think it's like 9mm or something like that, for roughly $46. And for those who have never seen white label hard drives before, actually it's a good prime example here, because this drive that we're replacing is in fact a Western Digital. So you can see a picture of the disk right there on the screen, and here is a Western Digital Scorpio Blue. Now, many parts of this disc are covered by the label, but you can look at the top and see, like for example, here, here, and here. Notice it's the same right there on the screen. It's just a rebranded Western Digital drive. And of course, it's enclosed in this little cage, which is common for laptops. So anyways, we got to place an order for this drive after I called the customer and let them know that they're going to need a replacement. Okay, everybody. The replacement hard drive has arrived, and of course, as I mentioned, it's a white label drive, but it's practically identical to the one that it's replacing. It is, in fact, a Western Digital. Now, the only thing, this on a side note, the only thing I don't like about buying these white label hard drives is you don't realize what you're going to get. There have been numerous occasions where the drive I received was in fact a white label, but it wasn't the one pictured on the listing. I recently ordered a couple of 320GB drives, and the ones pictured were actually Western Digital Caviar Blues, but I ended up receiving a pair of Seagates. They were actual white label Seagates. So anyways, I I've used one of them already and it works fine. But anyways, this is a replacement drive. So if you just take a close look here, you can tell they're exactly the same. And let me go ahead and take this now out of the drive cage and get ready to put the new one in. I'll show you just how similar they are. Okay, everybody, there's the old drive. Western Digital. Look at the date of manufacture. October 2012. Say, geez, that's just only, what, 2 years ago? Not too long ago. Yeah. Kind of disappointed. I expect better out of Western Digital. But then again, this may have just been simply a lemon. Usually Western Digitals are a bit more reliable than that. I would have expected something like this out of a Seagate. I mean, like for example, both of the 1TB drives in the Mid-Tower Deluxe, the Seagate ST1000D M003s, both of them had to be RMA'd at the same time, at nearly the same age, but that was actually a few months back. But as you can see, Western Digital 500GB, white label 500GB. You know, I think of this drive here might actually have some warranty on it. But then again, the customer needed a computer back as soon as possible, so just ordered a replacement. Anyways, I flipped these over, and you can see they're exactly identical. I mean, exactly identical. Look at the circuit boards, and the motors, and the SATA connectors, and the metal cage. You know, the metal frames. They're identical drives. Heck, if it wasn't for the white label, you know, it'd be kind of hard to differentiate between the two. Anyways, that's the bad one. That's a replacement. So go ahead and get this installed to the little drive cage here, and get it reinstalled to the computer, and we'll go from there. Now, of course, I need to go in and reconfigure the BIOS for UEFI. But anyways, one thing I was going to mention is, you know, after modifying the Windows 8 installer to not require a product key prior to install, I noticed that after the install, I mean, after everything is said and done, it actually finds the product key. All you have to do is just click activate. You know, in each instance, I never had to enter a product key. It just pulled out the BIOS after the install, and you know, is able to activate it. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get this BIOS set up properly. Okay, everybody. After jumping through some hoops, getting getting the DVDs burned for Windows 8.1, I did finally get the OS installed. And right before I got to this screen, it asked me for the product key. Yeah. Even though product key is in the BIOS, it asked me for a product key. This is after I installed it. Now, basically, in regards to getting it to install without a product key, I did mention about sticking the EICFG file into the sources folder, but at the time, I didn't have the software to burn a bootable ISO, so I just compiled, a compilation of Nero and burned it, and of course, it doesn't boot. So I burned just the standard Windows 8 ISO, standard Windows 8.1 ISO, and basically, you can boot the computer off that DVD just when you get to the point where you're ready to start Windows install. You just swap DVDs and good to go. Anyways, it asked me for a product key afterwards. Yeah, after installing it, and the funny thing is what amazes me with these newer Windows 8 computers is the DVD I have is standard Microsoft. It's not an OEM for like HP or Toshiba or whatnot, but when I ask for a product key after you install the OS, it shows the like HP logo up in the corner or Toshiba logo up in the corner, and it's funny how it works. Anyways, enough jabbering all about that. Let's do Express settings. Hey, watch this. I just did a video on this not too long ago, and a guy on YouTube posted in the comments that you can bypass the Microsoft account this way. So sign in with a local account. So there is some methods to get around this. But anyways, I think what I'll do is, after this gets done, doing its typical crap, installing all the tablet apps you'll never use, I'll show you how to activate this. Okay, this got done installing. This is a fresh installed Windows 8.1 without the update one. As you can see, it boots to the Kitty interface here. All these stupid tiles that nobody cares about. Let's go to where the real stuff is done, in the desktop. And of course the hand shows up at the very top, indicating that Windows 8.1 Update 1 is not updated all the way. I still need to configure Secure Boot on this one. But anyways, let's go to Control Panel. And show you how to activate this. Go to System. I tell you, it really amazes me how many clicks you have to go through just to activate something like this. Or better just to get to the system properties is what I really meant to say. But of course, you can see, it has a product ID there. Let's try to activate it. And you can see that it did pull up a product key. It tell you guys, it just amazes me how, it's Windows 7 we went from having just a simple sticker on the bottom of the computer showing the CLA key to, hiding it in the BIOS, and then the installer or Windows 8 in general not working the way it's supposed to. Not retrieving that key out of the BIOS. I mean, it's there, it's just not retrieving it. So let's try doing this again after a power cycle. Because there have been multiple instances where, it'll eventually either activate on its own, or it would pull the key, the correct product key out of the system BIOS and activate. It to activate like it's supposed to. So let's just do this again. Do not want to go to Internet Explorer. Let's just try going to PC settings this time. Here, activate Windows. Yep. Let's see. Still not using the correct key. So this means I'm going to dig out, or better yet, I'm going to plug in the flash drive I have here and pull it out of the BIOS. I'm going to see if the keys match or not. Get out of this crap. Get back to our familiar desktop. Open up RW Portable. Oh, here we go. Under ACPI. MSDM. Let's see if the keys match. You know, I can't show you guys the key, but I do see it right here on the ACPI table. So, I'm going to copy this. Let's go back to Windows activation. Let's see if we can make this work like it's supposed to. Let's enter the correct key. And of course, I got it blurred out for a reason. I'm not sharing keys. And it says, thanks, you're all done. So yeah, epic fail Windows 8. That's all I can say. I'm going to, publish this portion into a whole different video. Okay, that's all it took. Windows is now activated. So yeah, I know it's been kind of a long journey in this video. Went from showing you this laptop in non-working condition with a completely bricked hard disk, to the process of opening the thing, taking the old disk out, putting the new disk in, install Windows 8.1. Shows you how much of a hassle it can be to activate it. So yeah, anyways, any questions or comments? Feel free to ask, and thanks for watching.